Hey everyone, welcome back to the B-Movie Bunker. Today we are looking at Return to Nuke High. This is brought to us by Troma Films and the man himself, Lloyd Kaufman. What we have is they have torn down the old nuclear power plant that was next door to the high school and have instead decided to open up an organics food factory, basically. And of course, as you can expect, this being a Troma film, things are not going to go as planned, and bad things will happen to the poor, hapless students once again. I'm not entirely sure how I felt about this film. I watched it the first time, and I actually felt a little bored watching it. But I felt that maybe I was a little distracted, and maybe my expectations were not set to the right level. You have to know, going in, watching a Troma film, you need to know that, you're not going to achieve a certain level of film. Troma is, somewhere down over here as opposed to more up here. And there are things that are just accepted in a Troma film, like the bad acting, the bad jokes. And that's actually one of the problems I had with this, is some of the jokes are just, come on, man. Fart jokes, the fart and fart and fart and fart and fart, it grows tiresome very quickly. And I think after watching it a second time, I liked it a little more than I did the first time. I still don't think it's that great. I think it's an okay Troma film. It's not one of their better films, I don't think. But this also being Return to Nuke High Part 1, I don't have the full story yet, so I don't know how everything's going to play together. Are there scenes I liked in this movie? Sure. Are there things I didn't like? Oh yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't like. And I think part of that is that, at least for me, Troma isn't unique anymore. When Troma films first bust out on the scene, back in the days with Class of Nuke High and Toxic Avenger and stuff like that, you weren't getting films like this from pretty much anywhere else. Unless you really, really worked to track stuff down, you couldn't find stuff like this. But now, with so many people making their own horror films and their own, gory horror films, and there's so much out there, I think a lot of the uniqueness that set Troma films apart from everywhere else is that it's gone. That's gone. And I don't want to say that Troma films that they've lost their relevance. I think that some of their stuff back in the earlier days, gory and goofy as it was, had kind of a message behind it, and this one seems more like it's taking shots at pop culture. School shootings and movie theater shootings and the organic food industry, but it's not really, it's more just taking pop shots as opposed to actually addressing an issue, which I felt that you got more of in some of the older Troma films. As bad as they were, I think that there was some clever writing to it that I think is lacking. This film just seemed a little lazy. But, as I said, it's not done yet, so once I see the full product, my opinion might change. I do like certain aspects of film without giving things away. I like the way that they took some of the students, and as horrible as some of them become, the fact that there's still a beauty to them. And I don't want to spoil things, but there's still a little bit in there that I think is worth watching for this film. And if you love Troma films, then yes, you have to watch this. As I said, it's not a terrible movie. I just think it's not as good as what they did before. So it's Return to Nuke High. They're not giving me anything I already didn't get done better in the first Nuke High movie. That's part of the problem I have with this. So I want to see where they're going. Scale of 1 to 10. Without spoiling too much of the movie, this film felt like a 4-foot-long penis, which on paper sounds like it'd be a great thing. Wow, 4-foot penis. Think of all the stuff you could do with a 4-foot penis. Yeah, but once you actually have one, trying to find a pair of pants that fits properly is a nightmare, let alone the fact that you're constantly having your face resting on the tip of your dick. Although that's really 4 feet would be more like here, but still, how do you drive a car? There's lots of issues that aren't taken into consideration when it comes to having a 4-foot penis. So, I wanted to like this movie, I really did, and I did on some levels, but I think it's lacking something, and hopefully Part 2 will fill those gaps that I think are there. I still think that the writing is not at the level that they've done in the past, and I think it's just kind of average. So, that's all I've got for this one. Until next time, You all stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.